What is up, everyone? Today I'll be showcasing a team that did quite well for me in the Open Master League that doesn't use any legendaries. The squad is quite simple: Metagross, Double, Dragon, with Dragonite and Garchomp as the dragons. Anyway, let's get to the battle, starting off with a Giratina lead. Quite bad for Metagross, so I switch into Garchomp, which will usually be your pivot in this line. Actually, always be your pivot in this line. It's just a tad more flexible than Dragonite, especially versus Zacian, which is a very common pick in the current meta, and you do not want to get it aligned to your Dragonite, as you will die and lose, which isn't great. But Garchomp, on the other hand, even though it's a dragon, has a very fine matchup versus Zacian. A lot of people don't seem to realize it because they happily switch in their Zacian to it, but Garchomp actually wins the zeros there, and even the one shields versus Snarl Zacian, because you survive the play roughs and the fast moves leading up to it, and you're able to get to 2 or 3 Earth powers. It's quite impressive, really. So that's the way this team is intended to work. If you don't see a Zacian in the lead, you switch to Garchomp, you lure it out, and once Zacian is gone, Dragonite can go to town. Obviously, if you face a Charmer, you're screwed with Garchomp. But luckily, they aren't as common as they used to be these days. They're definitely around, but not as commonly as they used to be, since the preferred fairy these days seems to be Zacian. If you want to run a fairy in your line these days, Zacian is just the way to go, and a lot of trainers are opting to go for it. In this game, luckily, no fairies to be seen, but the Lugia on my Garchomp wasn't nice, the Giratina on my Metagross wasn't nice, and now we have Melmetal on Dragonite, which also isn't too nice, but luckily I was able to hit the superpower through both of his shields, fully farm it down with Dragonite. I'm just gonna throw one Dragon Claw to threaten a shield here, even though I'm debuffed, it should do enough to threaten the shield. Then I'm gonna clear the buff with Metagross. I actually win CMP with Dragonite versus Giratina, so even if they fully farm me down, I'm able to get the Meteor Mash, take the shield, and then Dragon Claw take it out. But since they threw, they don't have enough energy to get it too, so this is basically game over. At least I think. Unless I miscounted, I should be able to get to another Dragon Claw to take out the Giratina at this point, and I do. Basically hard counter game, we managed to take the win basically with a Dragonite carry, to be honest. Alright, this next game, Groudon lead, I switch in Garchomp, and out comes a Gardevoir, which is quite bad for Garchomp, but this really impressed me, actually. This really impressed me. Look at this. We're gonna get to 1 Earth Power, does a ton of damage. I actually get to another one, which is kind of wild. This is also why I think that Charmers are not as strong in level 50 Masters, because they just don't charm Pokemon down fast enough where they're not able to get to multiple moves. Like in level 40 Masters, the Garchomp wouldn't have never gotten to the second Earth Power, but in level 50 it does. Anyway, also no shield, the move from Gardevoir there, so they couldn't have been at a Shadow Ball yet, so just a synchronized double resisted. Out comes Groudon again. I win CMP, which is weird because Metagross is not supposed to win CMP, and this is when I realized there's actually a level 40 Groudon. It's a level 40 Groudon, so that really helps me, as that means my Metagross will win CMP. Still not a great matchup though, so I'm gonna try to catch a move on Dragonite. It looks like I'm successful. I catch the Fire Punch on my Dragonite. Feeling like this is double fairy though, which wouldn't be great, and it is. Tokus comes out. I throw Superpower almost right away. I really should have thrown it right away, but I was still contemplating what to do. I decided to throw it almost right away because I want this thing to get as little farm as possible, so I can surely farm it down with Metagross before they get to 2 charge moves. At this point, since I know I win CMP versus Groudon, I'm safe to just farm this thing completely down. And as long as I don't get to 2 moves, I should be able to get off the Meteor Mash versus Groudon, take it out, and I am able to farm down. Throw the Meteor Mash, and this will take out the Groudon. GG's. Kind of lucky. It was only level 40 Groudon, but, you know, we take those. GG's. Another Giratina lead. I actually saw loads of those whilst I was running this team. Wasn't too great because it's a very awkward lead to deal with, but I managed to beat most of them, so this team just has a ton of play. Out comes Dialga now versus my Garchomp. This is why, if you have the choice between best buddies, go for Best Buddy Garchomp, alright? That is optimal, because Best Buddy Garchomp takes less Dragon Breath damage from Best Buddy Dialga and Zekrom, so that's definitely worth it. I think in the first games I did, I didn't have it best buddied yet, but later on you're gonna see me run best buddy Garchomp. Might already be this game actually, because I kind of shuffled around some of the games. But yeah, some of these games are running best buddy Garchomp, and some of these games are running best buddy Metagross. But I definitely recommend to go Garchomp. That's optimal, I'd say, because of that Dragon Breath bulk point you hit. Anyway, we're farming down this Dialga now. I have a bunch of energy loaded. I'm gonna throw this. Oh, actually not gonna throw. I'll save the Meteor Mash for later. Is that smart? Maybe not. Why would I save it? I don't know. I was expecting something like this in the back, and I ended up shooting Shadow Ball, but I really regret it, because if I didn't, I would have been able to save and shoot for this thing, but still, I don't think it would have been possible. It's a Shundo, by the way. That's crazy. Yeah, this game was over either way. Nothing I can do against this Xerneas, unfortunately. So we can see GG's. All right, Excadrill lead, quite bad. They farm up a bunch of energy, bring in Mewtwo. I'm going to go for the Earth Power. I didn't think... I really thought I would need 2 moves to take out the Mewtwo, so go for Earth Power, even though it's a weaker move. And they shoot up, which is great, and now I go for Outrage, because I wasn't expecting to get the 2 more moves anyway. And this is when I realized they did much more than I expected. If I shoot up the next move, I can actually farm this down, which would be pretty huge. So honestly, if you face a Mewtwo, I would recommend you to not go with Earth Power, because it is weaker than Outrage. And you really don't save that much energy. So honestly, just go double Outrage, because as you can see, you can actually farm down a Mewtwo there, which is crazy. Anyway, they're bringing Excadrill again, and I'm going to shoot this. I'm actually going to shoot this, because I can get to Earth Power, and I can keep them from getting too much energy anyway. You know, Metagross can also win the zeros versus Excadrill if needed, since you survive a Druro and into Mud Shots and to get to the Earthquake. So if they have something like strong or strong as Metagross in the back as well, like a Kyogre, I can still use my Metagross on the Excadrill if I want to. And as being an Yveltal, so they are double strong against the Metagross. Meaning that I think I made the right play getting shields down, because now even if my Dragonite goes down to the Yveltal, I should be able to finish off the Excadrill with Metagross. But it's definitely not over still, as they will get to another Dark Pulse. Actually, I allow them to get to another Dark Pulse. Yeah, my play at this point is just let my Dragonite go down, farm this Yveltal down with my Metagross, and then I should be able to even get to the Earthquake before the Excadrill gets to the Druron, making this win even safer as we do get to the Earthquake here, which will definitely knock out the little mole man. Yes, GG's right there. Next match, amazing lead. Zacian, out comes Yveltal, and I had no clue what to do here, so I decided to stay in. I was like, alright, I'll throw a move, but then I realized if I throw a move, they're gonna throw a move, and I don't really want to shield. So I switched to the Dragonite right there, and that's stupid, because they're just gonna outpace me now. Like, what am I doing? I should have honestly just shielded up, thrown the Meteor Mash. I think that might have been my play, but even then, it would have gotten rough. So yeah, anyway, I throw on the CMP tire. I think this will barely knock out the Yveltal. Yveltal's not that tanky, so it knocks it out. Out comes Zacian, and they can just get a huge farm here. I think the appropriate play to Yveltal switch in would be to instantly go into Dragonite. You will lose that matchup, I think, which is fine. I think you just gotta let it happen. I think you just gotta let the Yveltal take you out. And then maybe farm it down in Metagross. I think at the very least you'll be able to bring it down into a range where I can get a bunch of energy on Metagross, and that's probably quite valuable for whatever's in the back. In this case, it actually will be. So if this is a common line, then this is definitely a way to go. Anyway, they're gonna close combat once. I'm just gonna let them throw the next, because shields down Garchomp just isn't good. And it's a Dialga in the back, so this is yeah, this is trash. This is really bad. I don't think I'm running the best buddy Garchomp here, so maybe if I had ran it, I would have survived with a lot more HP. Yeah, actually, I don't think this is best buddy Garchomp. If I had run best buddy Garchomp, maybe I would have had a shot here, because maybe I would have had enough health to get to a move versus Zacian. Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, Zekrom. Oh, this is where I realized that best buddy Garchomp might be the way to go, because look how low I am. I thought I was supposed to get to 2 Earth Powers here. That's because I'm not running the best buddy, and the Dragon Breaths are doing more damage. So yeah, let it go, because I don't think I'm gonna reach another one. I just want to take the shield now, which I do. That's nice. Gonna bring in my Dragonite now after waiting out the clock, of course. Bring it in. There we go. Out comes a Metagross. This is not great, as I have nothing that can really hit this for a lot of damage. And my switch timer isn't up. I'm going to have to shoot a Meteor Mesh here. I can throw a Sewer Power. But like after that, I can't farm it down before it gets to a move. So it's not looking too good here. But I do have one idea here of a play. I'm going to switch out with the Dragon Claw loaded. Then bring in Metagross. And then just get a ton of farm here. I have to shoot up an Earthquake, but that's fine. Can probably farm it down afterwards and just get a ton of energy loaded on both my Metagross and my Dragonite, which I hope will carry me throughout the rest of the game. In comes Zekrom now. I think baiting here is a bit too risky, so I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake, and unfortunately they shoot it up, and they even get to a crunch before I can get to my next move, so pretty bad. Doesn't kill me though. Just gonna throw the Meteor Mesh right away and they catch it on a Landorus. This might be my win condition. Does a ton of damage. They need 6 more Mud Shots before their Stone Edge. I'm gonna throw right before the 5th because I was playing kinda safe. As I know the Zekrom is kinda low, or kinda low on energy. Take out the Landorus. Out comes Zekrom. We take this out as well. GG's. Honestly, if they had just let their Zekrom go down, they might have been able to win this. Actually, no, because my Dragonite, I think, would have outpaced the Landorus to 2 Dragon Claws before they got to a Stone Edge, and that would have knocked them out, I think. So we had him checkmated there. Anyway, this game, Dialga lead, Mewtwo switches in. I try to catch a Shadow Ball here, but it ends up being a Side Strike, and now I'm in shambles because if I want to get off this Dragon Claw, I think I'm gonna have to double shield. Luckily though, my opponent does make a mistake and he throws on CMP, meaning that if I shoot this, I get off a Dragon Claw, but I wasn't too sure if it was gonna knock out. So instead, I opt to let Dragonite go down, bring in a Metagross, and just fully farm it down. I'm gonna shoot up this move, fearing a Shadow Ball, ends up being a Focus Blast, which is crazy. I don't think I waited out my timer, which is stupid. Always wait out your timer. I'm just too impatient sometimes. So they're able to bring in an extra drill and just farm up before I'm able to switch to Garchomp. So yeah, I kind of want to save a shield for Garchomp. I'm hoping to sweep with it at this point. So I just let my Metagross go down, bring in Garchomp. I'm not going to shield this as I want to save it for a potential Mewtwo Side Strike, but I think that's a mistake. At this point, I thought that Earth Power might one-shot Dialga, but right after I throw this move, I realized that isn't the case, which means that this Dialga is actually going to be able to Dragon Breath be down, unfortunately. So I definitely should have shielded up the Duran, and then I might have been able to Earth Power and Mudshot down before they got to an Iron Head. And then I would have been able to nuke the Mewtwo too. So I think shooting the Duran would have been way better there. Oh, look, it's the same game, this time with a shiny Dialga though. Dialga lead, bring in Mewtwo. I'm gonna play it very similarly, but just a little better hopefully, as this time I actually catch the Shadow Ball, which is pretty nice. Honestly, I have no tips for you there on when to swap. It's kind of just a random point when you think they're gonna throw. This time I switched at 10 and they happen to throw Shadow Ball, so very nice. GG's. I'm gonna let this go again because they were gonna reach another Side Strike before my Dragon Claw, and I like the idea of farming this all the way down with Metagross. They have Shadow Ball this time, which I shoot up, and now we're gonna fully farm this down. They actually switch out with a Side Strike here though, which is a very smart move by my opponent there, because they can hit that on my Garchomp later, which will be quite painful. Out comes Giratina. I'm already so loaded. I can throw 2 Meteor Meshes on it to probably grab a shield here, which I do. Then I'm gonna bring in the Garchomp. I will be able to take a move here. This will do less than a Side Strike does, so I shouldn't have shielded it. Yeah. Why am I shooting that? And then I make another mistake and overfarm. But this actually it's not really a mistake. I was just counting for Shadow Ball. I wasn't expecting the Ominous Wind. I probably should have thrown before that, but actually, yeah, definitely should have, because then I would have survived a Side Strike. Now they bring in the Mewtwo and I don't survive the Side Strike. Yeah. Ooh, little bit of a misplay there. I should have definitely thrown before that Ominous Wind, then I would have survived the Side Strike. We have to farm this down. Yo, I still survive? That's crazy. Wait, I didn't know that. That's crazy. I actually survived that Side Strike. But yeah, still, even though I made that little bit of mistake, Metagross still comes in clutch and gets to the Earthquake before the Dialga is able to get to the Draco. We take it out. GG's. Alright, extra drill lead. Switch into the Garchomp. Out comes Togekiss. Yes, this is bad. This is real bad. But at least we lured it out. We lured it out, and Dragonite does not have to see it. It's gonna go for Outrageous here. You could also go Earth Power, but Outrage is a little stronger. And you don't really want to get the debuff here, honestly. Honestly, maybe I should have done less damage. I think maybe I should have undercharged the Outrage. Because I want as much farm on my Metagross as possible. I'm not even gonna come out with an Earthquake out of this matchup. So getting 2 more bullet punches would have been quite nice. Anyway, I still reached the Earthquake into the extra drill for a drill run. So I get a shield here, which is nice. And I switch it to Dragonite. I really hope they have like Kyogre in the back, something I can beat. But it's oh god, this game is actually not over. Now, I have 2 options here, alright? I could Superpower, and if they no shield, I almost kill him. But if I Superpower, they get to the Iron Head anyway. Because Superpower doesn't do enough. And meaning they take a shield, and then the extra drill is just gonna get to 2 Rock Slides. So I go for Dragon Claw, knowing they likely won't shield. But it is my only win condition at this point. I need them to shield this. Then I shield their Iron Head, I get to my Superpower, and then I might be able to get to my Superpower, my own Superpower, before I get to 2 Durants, Rock Slides. That's my player, but unfortunately my opponent is very smart. He knows that he survives Superpower anyway, so no shields that move, and at that point, the game is just over, sadly. So I'm just gonna let this go, let him farm down my Metagross. GG's. So honestly, even though there was like a Togekiss into my Garchomp situation, that game was kind of playable. But yeah, it was not meant to be. Next up, another Giratina lead. Not too good. So I switch to Garchomp, of course, and out comes a Zacian. Beautiful. I'm just going to go for the Earth Power here. This will do a significant chunk of damage versus the Zacian. And they're going to throw a move here. I should be able to survive the play rough, so I don't shield. Expecting it to be a play rough. Actually, there's a close combat. This Zacian doesn't seem to be running play rough, which just makes this much better for me. Again, I would have survived the play rough, and then I would have been able to get to another Earth Power, and it would have been fine, because then I would have been able to grab shield advantage, farm down the Zacian with Metagross, and then probably sweep with Metagross and Dragonite. But, you know, this is even better, as I will be able to probably grab Switcher. I'm going to throw the Earth Power here into the Zacian, they let it go, and now what do they bring in? Probably the... Ooh, Excadrill. Kind of wild. Not amazing for my team, actually, because they have a Giratina with some energy, and then an Excadrill, and my Metagross looks pretty useless at this point. We'll throw the Earth Power into the Excadrill now. After shielding, I wanted to shield that first turn there, just because I need shields down in order to make this easier for my Dragonite and Metagross. As, like I said before, Metagross can win versus Excadrill when shields are down, and when shields are down, it also becomes easier for Dragonite. So that's why I shielded Garchomp. They actually switched out into their Giratina. I hope to catch an Earth Power on it, but I was quick enough on the switch to switch into my Dragonite to take it out instead. And now we should be looking pretty good, as my Garchomp will win CMP versus the Excadrill and knock it out. And that finishes off this video as well. Definitely a team I can recommend to you if you don't have that many resources, or at least, you know, legendaries to play with. Of course, these 3 Pokemon are still expensive. Master League is just expensive. But luckily, all 3 of these have had community days, have had events, meaning that they're relatively easy to have gotten XLs for. So I hope this team will work for you as well. If you decide to try it out, let me know how it goes. See you next video, and good luck with your battle trainers.